Have you ever wondered why India, a nation with over 1 billion people, didn't participate in the 1950 FIFA World Cup, even though they had qualified? This puzzling decision has sparked countless discussions and theories over the years. From financial constraints to the barefoot myth, there's a lot to dig into. But what's the real story? What were the actual reasons behind India's withdrawal from one of the world's largest sporting events? Today, we're going to attempt to unravel the real story behind India's withdrawal. Firstly, let's delve into the role financial constraints played in this decision. The All India Football Federation, or the AIFF, was in a tight spot financially. The cost of transporting an entire team to Brazil on the other side of the world was not a trivial expense. It was a significant expenditure that required careful consideration. Now, add to this the prevailing preference for the Olympics over the World Cup. The World Cup was still a fledgling event, while the Olympics had an established prestige that was hard to ignore. So, in a time when resources were limited and choices had to be made, the AIF chose to prioritize. In an era of limited resources, the AIFF had to prioritize, and the Olympics came first. Apart from the financial aspect, there were other factors at play as well. Imagine the World Cup, today's colossal football extravaganza, in its infancy stages. It was still growing, still trying to carve its niche in the world of sports. On the other hand, the Olympics, with its deep-rooted history and prestige, was the prime focus of many nations, including India. The World Cup simply did not have the same pull. Furthermore, there were internal issues to contend with. Disagreements over team selection were rife, and there was a lack of adequate practice time. All these factors culminated in a decision that, in retrospect, seems unfortunate. The World Cup was still growing, and India, it seemed, was not ready to take the leap. And then, there's the famous barefoot myth. You might have heard the story that India withdrew from the 1950 World Cup because the team wanted to play barefoot, but this is far from the truth. During that time, FIFA had no mandate on boots, meaning teams could choose to play barefoot if they wished. However, this was not a factor in India's decision to withdraw. So, the barefoot theory, as intriguing as it may sound, had no bearing on India's decision. With the real reasons laid bare, what has been the impact of this decision on Indian football? The decision to withdraw from the 1950 FIFA World Cup was influenced by a combination of financial constraints, a stronger preference for the Olympics, and logistical issues such as team selection and inadequate preparation time. This choice has had lasting effects on the trajectory of Indian football. Regret is a common sentiment associated with this decision, especially considering the global stature of the FIFA World Cup today. It's a stage where nations showcase their football prowess, and India's absence from it has often been a topic of discussion. However, it's crucial to remember that India's focus on the Olympics at that time was a clear reflection of the nation's sports priorities. It was a time when the Olympics held a higher prestige, and India chose to invest its resources there. It's a decision that has been looked back upon with regret, but it's also a decision that shaped the course of Indian football.